When it comes to being in relationships, most of us are usually one of two kinds of what are called relationship characters, either cozy or cool. Cozy gives everything to the relationship. She's in touch with her feelings, talks about them freely, patient but frustrated and occasionally complaining that she's not getting the emotional connection she really longs for in her relationship. Cool, on the other hand, is rational and level-headed. He likes to keep his feelings to himself. He tends to be guarded, putting up walls to avoid being controlled, and when he gives, it tends to be in physical ways, like providing financially. He's not so great at giving emotionally. While cozy is shown as a girl here and cool as a boy, lots of relationships are the other way around. There are plenty of female cools and male cozies. Many marriages and partnerships are made up of one of each. Now let's look at the history of the cozy-cool relationship. In the beginning, Cool did his fair share of wooing. Cozy was in heaven. She loved how romantic Cool was and felt special because they shared their deepest feelings and longings with each other. Both Cool and Cozy felt they were made for each other. They were so smitten that they decided to get married and settle down together. Fast forward some months or years, though, and things have started to change. Cozy continues her loving ways, putting Cool above everyone else. A passionate relationship with a close connection is very important to her. She exerts a lot of energy trying to please Cool by understanding his needs and trying to be the perfect partner. With all this attention on Cool, sometimes she forgets about herself. Cool, on the other hand, is a rational, logical partner who values his independence above all else, always has and always will. While it's true he made the effort at first to woo Cozy, now that he's settled in, he sees Cozy as his woman, almost as a part of himself. Continuing to woo her seems like a waste of time. If he's honest, there are times Cool wishes Cozy would be more rational and reasoned. Sometimes she's a little too emotional and too needy. It annoys him a bit that she talks about how she feels all the time and expects him to listen to it. And sometimes, out of nowhere, she'll talk about her feelings and ask him to do something, or change something, or stop doing something else. More than anything, Cool hates being dominated. Cozy's requests often feel like she's trying to dominate him, and that makes him angry. He feels attacked, so he tries to get her off his back by pretending not to hear her, or downplaying her, or saying yes dear and going right back to doing what he was doing before. It's how he feels like he regains the upper hand. Cozy can interpret this as Cool misunderstanding her needs. Now she's frustrated and ups her requests, which makes Cool more resistant. She may start nagging him, which annoys him even more. In their better moments, Cool sees himself as a problem solver. So when Cozy wants to talk about a problem she's having, he usually comes up with a solution right away. What Cozy really wants is empathy, understanding, and support. But rational Cool thinks the best and most efficient way to help her is to fix it for her. More frustration. Cozy feels Cool never really hears her, but she tries to be loving and empathetic, hoping he'll learn from her example. Sometimes, though, her frustration gets the best of her, and she responds by criticizing or being sarcastic. For Cool, being open about his feelings and preferences seems very risky. It feels like they might be used against him or denied. He tries to make it look like he's cooperating while inwardly hoping to do his own thing under the radar. In the bedroom, the passion they used to bring to their sex life has turned mundane and predictable. Cozy still mostly enjoys the emotional closeness lovemaking gives her, but Cool is more about wanting Cozy to dress provocatively and finding more and more erotic adventures, things he's seen from watching porn. Over time, though, he loses his desire for passion and intimacy with Cozy and involves himself with things outside their relationship. Long work hours, workouts at the gym, computer games that can take up to 5 or 6 hours a day. Cozy finds this increasingly difficult to handle, since they're now sharing hardly any quality time together. She alternates between reluctantly accepting the situation and wanting to bring it up with him. Cool can get resentful when Cozy keeps asking, or even worse, expecting him to spend more time with her or to be more affectionate. She usually couches these in terms of, you never do this, and why can't you do that? Cool gets defensive and fights back, criticizing her, or withdraws, giving her the silent treatment, sometimes for days. This can make Cozy feel everything is her fault, and she's starting to feel more and more disempowered and disappointed in the relationship. For his part, Cool is annoyed that she keeps criticizing him. Both are feeling victimized by the other. He wonders why she won't just leave him alone. I'll leave you alone, he thinks, and we'll get along just fine. If he can just meet me emotionally, she thinks, everything would be fine. But they're not. Cozy and Cool have gotten themselves into a ritual dance called the pursuer-distancer dynamic, which can keep couples battling for years. The more Cozy wants intimacy and to be heard, and the more she complains and criticizes Cool for not giving it, the more he feels criticized and defends and withdraws. The more Cool defends and withdraws, the more Cozy asks, pursues, and blames. The more Cozy asks, pursues, and blames, the more Cool defends and withdraws. It's a vicious cycle. It can continue for a long, long time, with both partners blaming the other and feeling like strangers, with neither one feeling loved or happy. But where will they go from here? Unfortunately, if they don't take the time to stop and really look at what's happening, they're likely to go in one of four directions. Typically, they start to fight, arguing and judging each other more and more, since both are by now pretty frustrated that they're not getting what they want. This is common, but arguing only seems to make things worse. There's one benefit to arguing, though. If things get bad enough, most couples will at least decide to seek out help in the form of counseling. For the second option, Cozy eventually decides that if Cool isn't going to put any effort into the relationship, she's not going to either. So she starts cooling herself, shifting focus off the relationship and involving herself in her own projects. The result of this cooling off is that the relationship can become what's called a neglected parallel relationship, with two people each doing their own thing and moving completely independently from one another. But this kind of relationship can be a little like the living dead. Option 3, an affair. One or both partners chooses to look outside the relationship for easier love and better attention. It's a handy way to avoid their own problems, which don't seem to be going away. The fourth option is that Cozy leaves or seriously threatens to if something doesn't change. When this occurs, and if she really means it, two things can happen. One is that such a shock can turn the dynamic upside down, where Cool very quickly rediscovers his own Cozy side and pursues Cozy with all the gusto he did when they first met. Or, if too much judgment and blame have been thrown back and forth between them, Cool may decide he's better off using his energy to chase someone else. These are the extreme examples of what can happen when two people get into this entrenched dynamic. For many couples, though, their coziness or coolness isn't so extreme. While they can have occasional battles over these issues, in general they're able to listen to one another about what they want and, ideally, to give it to the other. It comes down to the balance between a me focus and a we focus, between meeting individual needs and meeting togetherness needs. Typically, a Cool is too me-focused and a Cozy too we-focused. Achieving this me-we balance is an important part of having a happy, healthy relationship. The more each individual partner is able to balance his or her we and me needs, the happier the couple is. If they're out of whack, rebalancing the relationship can take work and involves looking at a number of different essential elements. That's why we've developed the Renew Your Spark online interactive program. In just 9 weeks, working in the privacy of your own home, you'll progress through a series of step-by-step processes designed to help rebalance and renew your relationship. With just a couple of committed hours a week, and with each of you working your individual sides of the dynamic, you'll begin to see measurable, noticeable results and improvements between the two of you. In less than 2 months, you'll start to recover more intimacy, closeness, passion, and excitement, the kind of excitement that fueled the early days of your relationship. To learn more about the Renew Your Spark program or to sign up, go to RenewYourSpark.co.